I could be wearing anything in the world, and today I was like, yeah, I'm gonna film a YouTube video for the first time in forever, and I'm gonna wear my fucking Mercari All That Remains t-shirt. Look at that. It's so cool. Yes. It arrived today, so I'm like really hyped about it. I turned it into a crop top. But yes, today I wanted to film something, finally. It's been a while. Oh my god. Stained. I wanted to film, and I wasn't sure what I should film to kind of like get back into the swing of things. Not that anyone cares, but I decided that I should film a video all about my septum because I get a lot of questions about it, a lot of comments, a lot of unsolicited comments, and I just wanted to lay it all out here. So first off, I'm going to just get some basic facts out of the way. If you are wondering, my septum is a 6 gauge. I do not know how big the diameter of this jewelry is, but a lot of people are shocked to find out that this jewelry is the same size as the other pieces that I wear a lot, such as this guy. Same size, just much larger diameter. So, hello? Yes. It's a 6 gauge, and this is an anatomy metal piece. It's one of their circular barbells that is internally threaded. Like I said, I don't know the diameter. I used to have a little card that made it really easy to measure things, and I wish I could find it, but I can't. Such is life. But I'll get into it later, but I feel like you don't really need to know the diameter of this piece because everyone's face is different. But yes, now I will get into the history of my septum. So I was an irresponsible kid who definitely did not have a family that would let me get piercings. I used to pierce myself, including my septum, when I was about 15 or 16, I think. And I think I stretched it just a little bit so that I could wear like some pinchers and stuff, but it was still very small. It was like a 12 or maybe it was like a 12 gauge, I'm pretty sure, for a long time. And this is definitely, none of this is safe, none of this is okay, and all of this is actually why I will probably never be able to go above a 6 gauge. But I ended up having a friend who had some tapers, and I borrowed them from her. Please don't ever do this. This is not sanitary. You cannot successfully sanitize someone else's jewelry or tapers or any piercing gear like that. You cannot safely sanitize it at home, so please don't do this. I didn't realize how gross I was being. Not to be like mean to anyone, but like it's not safe. So I started stretching my septum back when I was a teenager, I think when I was 17, and I remember stretching pretty quickly. I would only wait a month or two in between, which for a lot of people is average, but I would find out later on that the longer you wait, the better. And I was irresponsible, got myself up to a 10 gauge and was really happy with it. I had these black acrylic, please don't use acrylic, it's too porous and not good for piercings long term. But I had these like black acrylic captive bead rings that every time I see pictures of me, I'm like, whoa, such nostalgia, because like 18-year-old me was like glued to these captive bead rings, man. I think I even briefly got up to an 8. Yeah, I think I got up to an 8. And then I just had a lot going on in my life, and I stopped wearing jewelry, and my nose almost completely closed up. And a couple of years, no, I think it was only 6 months to a year that I had it out. And then I was like, I miss it. So I forced jewelry back through it because it was mostly closed, I think, at that point. And started from the ground up, realized that I had been irresponsible and kind of waited a while before I started stretching. And this was back in like 2016, I think. So I would wait a couple months in between stretches at this point. The first couple were a bit quicker, and then once I got back up to an 8, what I did to get from an 8 to a 10 to an 8 and then an 8 to a 6 was like, I've heard different people say different things as far as what is truly considered dead stretching. I believe this is a kind of dead stretching where I would just wait until the weight of the jewelry, especially because at that point I was only wearing like good quality titanium jewelry, and the just activities of daily living and time itself would cause the fistula, which is the actual piercing hole, to loosen up and widen over time to the point where I could fit the next size of jewelry through. Some people say this isn't okay, but I was literally waiting until, like, it's not like I was pushing it through, it's not like there was a pop or something. Literally the jewelry would just fit in, and it would be like slightly stiff for a few days, and then it would relax, and I would start the stretching process, and I would have like the tiniest bit of soreness, and that was it. And like I said, 6 months to a year at least. I know I waited at least a year between the 8 and the 6, because what a lot of people don't know is that, like, for example, the size difference between a 12 and a 10 is a lot smaller than between like a 6 and a 4. The jump in between sizes gets bigger and bigger, which is why if I did ever want to go bigger than this, if I even could, I would probably have to start using the taping method instead, because there's just too much of a jump for even tapering to be safe. Some people can use tapers up to like a 0. Everyone's different. Do your own research. There's a lot of information you can find both from piercers and also like blogs and forums and stuff. Safer is always better than sorry though, because due to my irresponsible stretching the first time around, I have scar tissue. I have scar tissue that made actually switching to this jewelry very uncomfortable, and it took a long time for me to successfully start wearing this jewelry. And yeah, I don't know if I could ever stretch up. So I have my own consequences from that, and also my ear. I broke my ear when I was younger from irresponsible stretching. I've learned my lesson, which is why I was so careful the second time around, and why I would be extremely cautious if I ever stretched again. So that's how I got to here. I've been at a 6 for years. I don't know how long. Switching to this jewelry was uncomfortable the first time because it is a much wider diameter, and because of where my scar tissue is placed, it's like up above the piercing and like more towards the tip of my nose. It was actually putting a little bit of pressure on it, and it took a while for my nose to kind of adjust to it and move things out of the way so that it was comfortable. But now switching back and forth, if I wear other jewelry for a long period of time, it's not uncomfortable to switch back. Now I want to talk a little bit more about this jewelry, specifically because I love this jewelry, but it's got its drawbacks, and I want people to know and understand that. So, for one, this jewelry gets very hot and very cold. I have discovered that I absolutely love glass. The 2 pieces that I'm going to show you that are the other ones that I wear a lot are both glass. I love glass because it warms to the body much better, and it seems like a larger surface area warms to the body. Whereas I've gone outside in extreme heat and extreme cold with this septum ring a couple times, and I'm like, it's uncomfortable. I've never had any issues, it's never burned or frozen me, but I would be concerned if I was someone who worked outside and we weren't in a mask world or something like that. I wouldn't wear this, honestly, if you live in extreme weather and stuff like that. It's just, you don't want to potentially cause an issue up here in your piercing, or I would even be worried about it like really drying out your lips or something like that. Now, the really important thing I want to talk about, and I will get into why I like this jewelry after this, but very, very important, this ring, and wearing a septum ring that is this large and takes up this much of your space, the space of your face, is a hazard, specifically if it goes over your lip line, because if you hate weird noises, you might want to not listen to this, but I will not wear this jewelry to a concert or hiking or anything like that, because if I fall face first and I don't catch myself, I'm screwed. Every day that I wear this, I am at risk of falling, breaking my front teeth, and that would not only be painful, it would be a cosmetic embarrassment, and unless it was somehow like cute, but most likely it would not be. It'd be a cosmetic embarrassment. It would affect my self-esteem, is what I'm saying. And it would be very expensive to fix. So it's very important to have other jewelry other than big, massive, huge septum pieces that are, this is a huge hunk of titanium in my face. This is hardware. This is facial hardware. And because my face is small and short, and this goes where my front teeth are basically, it is a hazard. So I really want to make that clear because big septums they've been really like, big septum pieces have been really popular for quite a few years, but they still are, even with younger people. And I want people to know that. Even if you have a pretty large, like, captive bead ring, check. Does it touch your teeth when you lift your lip up and you press it down? Because if it does, one, if you're someone who's really clumsy, like I will find that this clicks against my teeth sometimes when I'm doing just like regular everyday things, that is potentially causing mild erosion. And like I said, I'm at risk of serious tooth damage if something dramatic were to happen. So I just wanted to make that clear. Now, why am I willing to risk that? Why do I like this septum ring when not only that, but briefly I will just say, people will not shut up about this ring. I have had some really weird interactions with it, mostly positive. Sometimes it's kids running up to me, asking me, what gauge is your septum, and stuff like that. I had a lady who was clearly going through some stuff in life who came up to me and wanted to ask me for some money, and then she looked at it and she was like, oh my god, did that hurt? And I was like, not really. And she was like, it hurts me, and then she ran away. Like, I have had people come up to me at work where this was before we had to wear masks, to talk to me about makeup, who are like, listen, like, you're beautiful, but I don't like, you know, they give me their whole opinion on how they don't like it and they think it's too much. I did have a couple of issues where people did not want me to help them at all, and wanted to get help from someone else because they were freaked out by it. So some people, especially old people, really don't like it, and it could cause issues if you work in customer service or something like that. Luckily, I have a very understanding team, and they never wanted me to change it. Potentially, your job might not want you to wear something like this. So you will also get a lot of attention, and anytime, like when COVID was kind of calming down a little bit, I went out in this ring a couple times, and the way that people looked at me and talked to me, I was like, oh my god, I did not miss this. But mask wearing's a thing now, so one, it'll keep it warm, and two, people won't comment on it. I'm gonna have to like reinsert this in the middle of the video. Did it hurt? Yeah. But only when I was rushing my stretches. Otherwise, there was just some soreness. When there was another time where I also tried to switch to a stack. That hurt very bad because I did it improperly. So painful. But the longer I waited in between stretches, it got to a point where there was just the tiniest bit of soreness, like just barely. But switching to this jewelry caused a lot more soreness because of my scar tissue. So if you take your time, it will hurt barely at all. There were some times where it hurt very bad, but every time it did, it was because I was rushing it, or because of the scar tissue that was caused from me previously rushing it. So take your time and it won't hurt that bad. Everyone wants to know, did it hurt? Yeah, but it was my fault. It didn't have to hurt. It really doesn't have to. So, yes. Alright, finally I just wanted to briefly show you and talk about my other favorite pieces, and then we'll be done. Yeah. Alright, so this is one of my other favorite pieces. As you can see, it matches the blue in my hair really good. I really like wearing it when I am wearing something colorful or my full bangs are on display. I just like switched my hair back to the side this week. So before that, I was pretty much always wearing this. This is a Gorilla Glass captive bead ring. I believe it's 5/8. I don't remember. Should have looked it up before. But once again, everyone's face is different. So, and the last piece I want to talk about, I do have some others, but I don't really wear them a whole lot, is this tusk. This is just one I got from like Urban Body Jewelry, I think. Sorry, my little like opossum skull is like just chilling. But yes, it's probably not the best quality, but I just wear it for short periods of time whenever I like it a lot with like my pastel looks and stuff like that. I have like a silver grayish wig and a bunch of like white pet play sets and like pink and pastel and lilac and stuff, and I just feel like I don't know what is that? What is that? Oh, it's my lamp. Yes. Yeah, I just feel like it looks nice with like my softer looks or my more like ethereal looks and stuff like that. Also very comfortable. It was uncomfortable at first because I've never had something straight through my nose, but it's comfortable now. So I'm gonna switch back to my favorite piece and then talk a little bit more about it and then call it good. Alright, back to the big boy. There we go. Yes, so finally I just want to talk about why I like wearing this in general, because some people are like, what's happening here? I have a really small face and a short, small nose, and I am non-binary, use non-binary, that's cool, transmasculine, and I love makeup, and I love hyper-femininity to the point where it kind of crosses the line and comes back around to androgyny, because normal girls don't really look like this. More so nowadays, but I don't like how small my features are. I actually really like big foreheads, big long chins, big jaws, big noses. I'm obsessed with big noses, but I actually have a small little one, and all of my features I feel like are very much so like super AFAB. They're small and soft and boring, and I wish I had big, strong, like masculine features, but it's so much easier to get plastic surgery to like make your face smaller versus like, yo, plastic surgeon, give me a bigger masculine nose. Not that big noses are masculine, like, you know, like categorizing things as like masculine versus feminine, I understand completely abolishing it, but I do feel like there is something about having this very large septum ring in the middle of my face that helps elongate my face in a more masculine way. And with all of my like lashes and liner and glitter and all of that, I feel like it's a nice balancing thing, kind of along with my eyebrows, that helps add a hint of androgyny back into my look. So it's mostly just that I feel like this style of jewelry, this size of jewelry, is sort of masculine. You know, that's how I interpret it. You don't have to view it that way. That doesn't mean that you can't be an absolute like divine feminine goddess and have jewelry like this. It's just how I view it, and I feel like it helps add something. It helps add something strong to my face, basically. Whereas my face can be kind of like small and delicate otherwise. So that's why I like it. I don't like how big the space is in between my nose and my lips, just because my nose is so short. When I have no septum jewelry in, I'm like, who is this bitch? Even with that that septum tusk or spike, I'm like, there's so much space here, since it doesn't really, you know, take up any space. So even with smaller jewelry, as long as it like completely, you know, fills up that space, I'm pretty happy. But this specifically, it's just so great. I love silver, as you can see, so I feel like with the silver glitter that I use as highlight, and like my big sword clip-on earring, and my big huge like pet play tag and stuff like that, I feel like it just brings everything together and once again helps just masculinize my face and my look just a little bit. And that's why I love wearing it so much. And I will also say that looking at this jewelry in person the first time, I was like, dude, I get it. I understand what people are talking about when they're talking about jewelry quality, because even though it was like funhouse mirrors stretched out, I could see my face in every single facet of this jewelry, including like the ball ends, every part of it. I could see my face clearly because it is so perfectly polished, which is so great because it's all those little like scratches and stuff from crappy jewelry that can harbor bacteria and things like that. So not that I'm the most perfect clean person, but having really good jewelry helps reduce a lot of irritation as well. So, and especially with me having scar tissue, that's important. This is a piece of jewelry that I'm comfortable wearing for basically until I see that it has like visible damage, versus like the company that I'm getting my lip jewelry from and stuff. I like to replace it pretty regularly because I don't super trust it. I want some anatometal eventually for my lip. But Gorilla Glass is pretty good too, but I did have an experience where I've already had to replace this once because there was a weird film I couldn't get off of my jewelry, and I don't know what that went from. But it was like grippy, so I felt like it could maybe hold on to bacteria or even cause some irritation. Got a new one and it's fine. It's pretty cheap, so it's chill. But yeah, take a close look at your jewelry regularly. Make sure there's no like scratches or erosion that could cause irritation, and most of the time you do want to replace things every now and then if you're planning on keeping piercings for years and years and years. But I'm comfortable with this absolute piece of hardware for quite a while, and whenever it's time to retire it, I'm absolutely getting another one because I fucking love it, even though I cannot wear this shit to a concert, which sucks because I feel the most confident with this Septum ring. But there are some places that it's just not going to be safe to have it. I actually have a concert I'm going to in March. Hopefully it's not canceled for COVID or anything, so I have to switch to my blue one, but it's okay. Anyways, I think that answers everything. And honestly, on a pain scale, it was still only like maybe a 6 out of 10 on really, really sore days when I had also like accidentally like punched myself in the face, because you only do that after a fresh stretch. You only bonk yourself in the nose when you have just stretched it, I swear. But yeah, that's all the questions I think. I think that should be pretty solid. Let me know if you have any extra questions down below. Currently I order all my body jewelry through Laughing Buddha Body Piercing. They are an actual piercing studio in California that you can order jewelry through. That's who I've been ordering through lately. I also sometimes use King's Body Jewelry for like less important stuff. I believe my spike was actually from Etsy as well, which once again, those are pieces that I don't wear for long periods of time, so it's kind of just for show, you know. But yeah, I really love Laughing Buddha Body Piercing. The first time I ordered from them, I had incredible, over-the-top customer service, and I've been very happy with every experience I've had from them, so I love them. Yeah. And if you have any issues, please, please go see your piercer. If you take anything from this issues, go see a piercer. Even if you never have, if you've always been a DIY at home person, please ask for help. Please. Alright. Goodbye! I hope you have a lovely day.